Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready to begin this evening's board meeting. The school board meeting of January 26, 2021 is now called to order. The time is 6 o'clock. We would like to take this opportunity to remind the members of the public of the district's mission, which is to ensure that each student achieves his or her highest personal potential, and the district mission to be a world-class school system. This evening's agenda includes the invocation, the Pledge of Allegiance, public comment, consent action items, which include 14 items under academic services, 4 items under business services, 3 items under human services, 2 of which is good cause. Dr. Atkins, please provide an explanation for these 2 items.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, we have approval of 2 collective bargaining agreements. The first is the FY 21, 22, and 23 collective bargaining agreement with the Teachers Association of Lee County, TALC. And then the second item is approval of the FY 21, 22, and 23 collective bargaining agreement with Support Personnel Association of Lee County, SPALC. Both of these were just recently ratified by both bargaining groups, and in the interest of getting our well-deserving employees compensation they certainly deserve, we're bringing this good cause.
Perfect, thank you. As presiding officer, I find there is good cause to add these 2 items to the agenda. 19 items under operations and 4 items under other business. Board members, is there a motion to adopt the agenda? Ms. Vaughn?
I move to adopt tonight's agenda.
And second it?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Fisher. Seconded by Ms. Fisher. And I apologize, Ms. Giovanelli, are you online?
Yes, I am.
Thank you so much. Can you please record your votes?
It's not coming up on the, there it is.
Okay, and it's 7-0, it passes. Okay, Ms. Fisher will deliver the invocation, or will introduce the person doing the invocation.
He's here.
Ms. Giovanelli will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Fisher, please introduce your guests for the invocation at this time.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to introduce Pastor Dennis Gingrich. Born and raised in Oregon, Dennis moved to Cape Coral in 1986 and is the founding pastor of Cape Christian Fellowship in Cape Coral. And I thought he was in the room, but I guess he's not. I apologize. At this time, please stand for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Ms. Giovanelli, would you please lead us in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Okay. We're moving to the next item on the agenda, which is public comments. Mr. Bruno, please address the item of public comment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. School board policy provides the opportunity at this point in the meeting to address the board concerning any matter on this meeting's agenda or any other matter relevant to the operation of the school district. If you completed a blue card, please put it in the basket provided at the back of the room. If you need a blue card, they are located in the hallway outside of the boardroom. The rules concerning public comment are posted in the back, and public comment will be made from the central microphone in the back. Please be advised that the board does not respond during public comment to remarks made by speakers. At the end of the public comment period, the board chair, Ms. Jordan, will address concerns or the assignment of any concerns or requests to the superintendent. Board Policy 1.181 is in effect and requires everyone to wear a mask when on school board property. In addition, for the benefit of other speakers, we ask that you use the sanitization supplies, which are provided near the microphone, after you speak, for the benefit of the next speaker. Speakers and those attending the meeting are expected to act in a respectful manner. The purpose of public comment is to provide feedback on school district issues. Personal attacks on individuals or abusive language are prohibited. In addition, clapping, hissing, booing, unreasonably loud and/or offensive language, swearing, cursing, or display of temper are prohibited. Speakers who fail to follow proper decorum in the chambers will be ruled out of order. Any speaker continuing with such remarks will be required to relinquish the microphone per Board Policy 1.11 and may be removed from the chambers. Per Board Policy 1.11, the time per speaker is 3 minutes if there are 20, 2 minutes if there are 30, and 1 minute if there are 31 speakers or more. Per Board Policy 1.11, the maximum time allowed for public comment is 1 hour. You will find a countdown on the big screens in the front of the room. Once your time has elapsed, a microphone will automatically shut off. We encourage you to address the board as a whole versus individual board members as they act as a collective board. Please state your name prior to making your comment. Madam Chair, there are 2 speakers today.
Thank you. Before we begin with the blue cards, is there anyone on the right side or the left side who wishes to speak who has not filled out a card? As well, is there anyone in the back room? Okay. Mr. Bruno, please proceed with public comments.
Thank you, Mr. Kevin Daly.
Chair Jordan, Dr. Atkins, and board members, I'm Kevin Daly, the president of the Teachers Association of Lee County. I speak to you tonight to urge you to support the tentative agreement we reached with the district last September. The agreement was passed with an 87% yes vote by members of the TALC bargaining unit last week, even with unprecedented interference from state lawmakers in the constitutionally protected collective bargaining process at the local level. We reached an agreement that followed the confines of the new law in both letter and spirit. As many of you know, the agreement calls for a new minimum base salary for instructional staff in each district across Florida. We're happy that the district was able to come up with additional monies to compensate those who already make more than the new minimum base salary, but we must do more. This agreement also has money specifically set aside for insurance. It raises the board contribution by more than $700 per employee per year. That money is greatly appreciated as we try to get a grip on the issue of medical inflation and its impact on the employee compensation. Moving forward, we could be facing a very challenging budget year due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. With the new law addressing base pay, we must now commit to finding the money to continue to reward experienced teachers who have given years of their lives in service to the students and schools of this district. Many experienced teachers saw the new legislation as a slap in the face to all their experience and feel neglected and disrespected by their elected leaders at all levels. Finding the money to reward teachers with experience and continuing to make headway against the rising cost of insurance are the 2 major issues we face moving forward. And I'm confident we can find a solution to these challenges together as well. As teachers and support staff continue to keep schools open in the midst of a global pandemic, we need to continue to show them in tangible ways that they are supported and appreciated. And also thank you for sending the letter to the governor about moving teachers and support staff to the top of the list for COVID. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Jamie Michael?
I'm shorter. Chair Jordan, Dr. Atkins, and board members, I'm Jamie Michael, President of the Support Personnel Association of Lee County. I urge you to support the tentative agreement with SPELC, electronically ratified by the members, 96% yes. Our politicians in Tallahassee did not provide funding for support employees, but the district was able to come up with additional monies beyond those monies provided for new teachers for minimal raises. SPELC also appreciates the $744 a year that will be added to cover the increased health insurance premium for each support employee, especially during COVID. Support employees continue to struggle to put food on their table because of the increased costs, along with the increased costs of housing in Lee County. Tallahassee needs to support our public schools, and we need to show a united front. As support staff and teachers continue to keep schools open in the midst of the global pandemic, we must show the positive ways that public education affects our community. Thank you.
Thank you. There are no further public comments, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Daly and Ms. Michaels, thank you so very much for being here. We hear you. We appreciate all that you do, and just keep on sharing with us, and thank you again. Moving on, I have the approval of the consent items. The documentations for the action items listed under consent is made available to the board members 7 business days prior to the board meeting. We are expected to review all of the materials, and we have an opportunity to speak with the superintendent with any questions we may have regarding the recommendations. Some of these items have also been briefed or workshopped with the board in advance of appearing on the action items. Board members, are there any agenda items you wish to pull for discussion under unfinished business portion of the agenda? Ms. Giovanelli?
I have 2.
Okay.
Do we list them?
Yes, please.
Yes. Okay. K6, approval to piggyback off Lee County County Board of County Commissioners contract CN 200-224 JJB. And then K11, approval of expenditure for ITN number N187334LN, indoor air quality and environmental, whatever that finishes up at. Sorry, can't read it.
I'm sorry, what was the second one, please?
K11, hold on.
11?
Let me pull it up.
Yeah, approval of expenditure ITN, indoor air quality, environmental consulting, asbestos and lead abatement, microbial remediation, remodeling and painting.
Thank you.
Okay. So you have K6 and K11. Thank you, Ms. Giovanelli.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Patrica?
No, thank you.
Ms. Gittens?
I have none.
Ms. Vaughn?
I have none.
Ms. Morgan?
I have none.
Ms. Fisher is not present, and I have none. Is there a motion to approve the agenda consent action items with the exception of the pulled items, K6 and K11?
I move that we accept the remaining action items with the exception of K6 and K11.
Thank you, Ms. Gittens. And do I have a second, please?
Second it.
Ms. Vaughn? Okay, can you please record your vote? Ms. Fisher, we're voting on the the agenda with the exception of K6 and K11.
Yes, I got the note.
Okay, 7-0 passes. Motion carries. Dr. Atkins, please read your recommendations for the pulled items.
Okay, we'll start out with K6, approval of the piggyback Lee County Board of County Commissioners contract, miscellaneous professional services. The recommendation there is approval to piggyback the Lee County Board of County Commissioners contract for miscellaneous professional services awarded to multiple vendors for the period of January 26, 2021 through December 6, 2021 at an estimated expenditure of $300,000 with the option to cancel if deemed in the best interest of the district. Approval authorizes the superintendent to execute all related documents.
Okay. Is there a motion to pull this item?
I motion to pull the item.
I know, I still have to ask for each one. Thank you, Ms.
I
Giovanelli.
second.
I didn't hear the motion.
I second.
I heard the second, but I didn't hear the motion.
Ms. Giovanelli,
I motion to pull, I motion to pull K6, approval to piggyback Lee County Board of County Commissioners contract CN 20024 JJB.
So the item has already pulled. So the normal course would be for a motion to adopt the recommendation to accept K6, and then have a second, and then you have your discussion, and then from there you see how the board votes.
okay. So is there a motion to, the item has been moved by Ms. Gittens?
It was moved by Ms., the motion was made
Oh,
by
I'm sorry.
Ms.
I
Giovanelli, and I
apologize.
seconded her motion.
Thank you, Ms. Gittens.
Her motion was to pull the item, and really the motion should be to adopt the recommendation of the superintendent, and then the second, and then you have your discussion to see where the board wants to go with this particular item. So Ms. Giovanelli, if you want to rephrase your motion and just say that I move that we adopt the superintendent's recommendation so we can open up the matter for discussion.
Okay. Ms. Morgan?
I move that we adopt the superintendent's recommendation to piggyback Lee County Board of County Commissioners contract number CN 200224 JJB, miscellaneous professional services.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Ms. Fisher. Is there any discussion? Ms. Giovanelli?
Yes, because she pulled it, so she should go first for the discussion.
Yes, so my reason for pulling this is I asked questions yesterday regarding it and regarding the vendor list. I can't support a $300,000 open-ended purchase order is one reason. And then my second was regarding the vendor list. If the vendor list had been attached to the agenda, I would not have had to ask for it, and I did receive it. However, my concern is there are several out-of-town and out-of-state vendors on this. They're not our local, it's not all local vendors, and I only want to support pretty much local vendors. And so that's why I pulled that item today.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Giovanelli. Is there any other discussion? Ms. Morgan?
But she intimated that it's an approval to expend money on a single purchase, is what I heard her comment to be. This is simply an authorization for the superintendent to make payment for vendors as need be for the items in the recommendation,
Correct.
right?
Is there any other?
And just one of the things, just to address some of the concerns. First of all, I think we are also bound to try to make the most efficient use of taxpayer dollars, and so sometimes that necessitates going outside. Additional, you often have a situation where you cannot find a particular service local and where we have to find, expertise or a service outside the district. So this gives staff some flexibility to do both of those things.
Thank you. Ms. Fisher?
No, that's exactly what I was going to say. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Ms. Gittens?
So this is only for 1 year? Is this a recurring thing, or is this the first time it's happened? Is this a new piggyback arrangement, or is this something we've done previously?
I'm not sure about this specific item. We do piggybacks like this ongoing. But it is subject, to board approval. Every year you approve the expenditure. The other thing that everybody should be aware, we do have Mr. Holloway and Dr. Savage, and of course our procurement department are continuing to work on a small business and minority-owned business initiative. That the purpose of that is to drive more business to our local community. That's something that I want to see as a superintendent, and I know the board has expressed this interest as well. So that is something that we are working toward, and I think is in alignment with meeting some of Ms. Giovanelli's concerns.
Okay. Ms. Gittens?
Since we don't have, I don't know if we all received that list of
And it is new. I'm sorry. It is new.
vendors.
Thank
It
you.
is new?
Yes.
And have we all received that list of vendors? Because, my concern too is, $300,000 just to have there in case we need for, certain things is a lot. And I'm not really sure, it just says Operation Services Funds. So I think if it were broken down into more manageable chunks that we could see, these are the vendors and these are the items that are included in this, because I'm confused as to, what would this go for?
Dr. Savage can address it somewhat more than I can, but my understanding is that all board members did receive the list. If that's not accurate, then we can correct that quickly.
Yesterday at 5:36 p.m.
Thank you. Ms. Vaughn?
Yeah, I will be supporting this. However, listening to the comments from my colleagues on the board, I agree with several of the points that were made. Namely, when you have this lack of specificity, we did ask and we did receive the list of the vendors, but it would avoid this last minute supplying of a list if the item originally had the specificity that we like to see. The second thing is that I will concur, and Dr. Atkins said this, but I just wanted to reiterate that Lee County, School District of Lee County, I'm hoping always looks to our local vendors and our local businesses, and that we especially support our minority businesses. And this is, in this current climate, after almost a year of COVID and businesses shut down and all of that, I feel that it's especially important that whenever possible that we use our minority businesses and any of our small businesses here in this county.
Thank you, Ms. Vaughn. Is there any other discussion? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ms. Giovanelli.
Well, my main reasoning was the fact that it wasn't listed for the public to read as well, nor provided to us. And there's half of the list is out of state and out of town vendors, and so I think it's important that we are transparent in providing the information, and why I don't understand why it wasn't attached to the agenda to begin with.
Thank you, Ms. Giovanelli. And as stated on here, we do have the option to cancel if deemed that if it's in the best interest of the district. So that is also stated in there. Is there any other comments or questions? Seeing none, I will close it and we will proceed to recording your votes.
To be a hand vote, Madam Chair.
Oh, thank you. So could I please have motion to your vote on the superintendent's recommendation?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
That's for sure? Aye. Okay. So 2 to 5, vote carries. Okay, thank you. Dr. Atkins, could you please read your recommendation for the full item for K11?
Yes, Madam Chair, the recommended action is approval of the estimated expenditure for the ITN for indoor air quality, environmental consulting, asbestos, lead abatement, microbial remediation, remodeling, and painting awarded to American Management Resources Corp., Fresh Air Solutions of Southwest Florida, and Legal Enterprises, DBA Captain Steamer Carpet Cleaner, Captain's Complete Restoration, Repair, and Remodeling for the amount of $2,800,000 for the third year of the base contract period of February 26, 2021 through February 25, 2022, pursuant to the same terms and conditions as previously approved by the board. Approval authorizes the superintendent to execute all related documents.
Thank you. Is there a motion to pull this item?
No.
It's a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation.
I apologize, I'm reading off of the script, so I do apologize for that. Miss Morgan.
I move we approve the superintendent's recommendation for ITN N1873334LN, indoor air quality, environmental consulting, asbestos, lead abatement, microbial remediation, remodeling, and painting.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Thank you, Ms. Giovanelli. Is there any discussion? Ms. Giovanelli?
Yes, thank you. I pulled this item because Ms. Fisher raised a request earlier in the week, and I also asked for a copy of the, that information. She requested, is there any new information regarding the reports of HVAC vendors staying on site and getting paid when not changing filters, et cetera, ? So I had asked for that information to be provided to me as well, and I have not been provided that information. So I pulled that this evening. Secondly, I'd also asked for totals, and the totals that were sent or were given yesterday are over the $2.8 million. So I need a little more clarity on that to be able to make a decision and vote tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Giovanelli. Dr. Atkins?
Well, I can respond to the original request, which was Ms. Fisher's concern. My understanding, though, is the other question, well, it's not related. The HVAC has nothing to do with the ITN. But anyway, so this one is specific to the air conditioning question. There was an evaluation by the maintenance department, HVAC supervisors, and determined that the vendor in question found to be sitting in their vehicles were taking a break. They're not district employees. They have a mandatory break that they have to take, and they're not allowed to use school facilities. So in order to provide quality assurance, maintenance staff assessed the work that they were to have completed the site. They found it completed and in accordance to maintenance standard and scope of work. So that's the first one. I cannot address the second one.
Okay. Is there any other discussion pertaining to K11? Okay. Seeing none, could we please have a hand vote on that?
Aye.
Ms. Giovanelli?
Nay.
Thank you.
Can I do, and I can live with it, which is.
You can, but
whatever.
that
Yeah,
will
I
be,
know.
yes,
Has to be a vote.
that will,
We're not doing a consensus, so I just need a yes or a no.
yes or no.
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries 6-1. Thank you. Moving on, Dr. Atkins, please introduce any administrators in attendance with a new assignment that were approved under the consent items.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It gives me great pleasure to introduce these people so you can congratulate them on their new assignment. The first one, Elise Clark, in Curriculum Instruction and Innovation Elementary, from District Literacy Coach to a Coordinator Teaching and Learning. Congratulations. Our next change, this was a transfer and change of assignment. Rebecca Mendez from Curriculum and Instruction Innovation Elementary, District Content Specialist to Veterans Park Academy for the Arts Assistant Principal. Congratulations. Last but not least, Jacqueline Plucker, Lehigh Senior High School Counselor to Estero High Assistant Principal. Congratulations. Madam Chair, that's all for this evening.
Thank you. Congratulations. Okay, attorney recommendations, we have none for this evening. And we're going to give you a break, I'm sorry. Congratulations. We're going to give you 2 minutes to. Okay. Moving on, we have no public hearings, so the next on the agenda will be board member comments. And if I may start with Ms. Giovanelli. Do you have any comments?
Yes, hold on. I've got a buzz in my ear, so I apologize. I just want to say congratulations to Ms. Gibbons for being keeper of the dream from the Dr. Martin Luther King Day. I just really appreciate that she does have the dream and is keeping it for all students. So thank you. Congratulations to the new employees in their positions. I really appreciate everything the staff does at the district because everyone works hard every day. And I'll just keep it short to that. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Patrica?
No, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Morgan.
So I'm going to do something that's not on the agenda, but I think it's just fun to relate. It's a fun fact that Lauren Stillwell shared with us. Tammy Scott with Student Service has been working with Edgewood Elementary on attendance initiatives this school year. On January 8th, they celebrated the third grade team for having the best attendance for the month of December. Third grade had 96% of their students in school every day for the whole month. And we're talking about a month when there was a lot going on, and we all know how important it is for kids to be in school. So I just wanted to say kudos to Edgewood Elementary and especially the third grade. In the agenda tonight, there were a couple of things that were mentioned that I think are worth calling attention to, both having to do with career and tech education. First, the U.S. Department of Education named the School District of Lee County one of 95 finalists in the U.S. for the Rethink Adult Ed Challenge. And there are only 4 finalists in the state of Florida. It's a nationwide competition for adult ed programs. They submitted a preliminary design for an adult pre-apprenticeship program, and it has to do with information technology, software engineering. So we continue to play a leading role, and particularly with Rita Davis and our tech college heads to lead in terms of providing programs that are meaningful to local employers as well as supportive of students. And the second one is along the same line. Item G1 was approval of an MOU with the City of Fort Myers Community Development Agency on behalf of the Southwest Florida Enterprise Center. Rain to Game will provide an on-site educational experience for students in CTE programs who have been identified by their counselors. So again, it's the partnerships that the community is creating in recognition of the quality of work that we are doing here and making it possible for our students to segue successfully from their academic setting to the workplace. I would like to compliment Dr. Pruitt and Mr. Rothenberg for their work on the contract. I know it was not easy. It was, the state set out requirements that made it very difficult to please everybody, and especially to be responsive to our unique needs here in Lee County. So I know it was a lot of work for you, and I do appreciate it. And in the same vein, I am very grateful for the comments that Kevin Daly and Jamie Michael made tonight about that negotiation process. We know that there is work ahead, but we're grateful that that part is done, and we just look forward to continuing to work on behalf of our teachers and staff. And then I want to congratulate Ms. Gittens for being Keeper of the Dream. I thought that was a wonderful ceremony and a great recognition. And so congratulations, Gwen.
Thank you very
And
much.
those are my comments.
Thank you, Ms. Morgan. Ms. Vaughn?
I would like to address remarks by the two speakers this evening. It really underscores how well our unions have worked with the bargaining staff when we look at the high rate of approval. Specifically, I wanted to touch on a couple things that Mr. Kevin Daly said. I give kudos to our HR team in being able to come up with some extra dollars. I know it was a difficult task, but extra dollars to reward our experienced teachers. Certainly, the government and the people in Tallahassee, I feel personally, were extremely short-sighted in their statement that 47.5 was going to be the new salary for brand new teachers, and then providing nothing for the teachers that are veteran teachers. And to me, I say it's short-sighted because it lacks the recognition, first of all, that it is our veteran teachers that are the mentors of these newbies, as I call them. And we have Apple's programs and all kinds of programs, but in my experience, it's the unofficial mentoring that really is the most important for our new teachers. And if we don't have our experienced teachers there to guide and advise and share with the new teachers, our educational system will fall flat, because we need those people there, and we need them happy and satisfied and not feeling like they got a slap in the face. The other important thing that I like to mention when I talk about our veteran teachers is that they're the foundation. They are the bedrock of their schools. They contribute to the stability for the continuation of educational systems within their schools. Also, when a new principal comes on board in a particular school, and we have that situation often, these are the people that can help the principal. The principal should be turning to the site-based experts to help him or her with the culture of the school. Because when we have a group of teachers that are unhappy, that feel like they've received a slap in the face, when we have 40-year-old veteran teachers that are young enough to still decide, the heck with this profession that I love but is not loving me, we're going to lose them. And that is a very sad thing. So as you can tell, this is a subject that I'm very passionate about, having put in 38 years and seen this first person so many times. So I hope that despite problems with money coming in to our state government, I hope that our lawmakers recognize the importance of having a strong public education system, and that they realize that every dollar that they put into public education pays huge dividends. So, off the soapbox, and those are my comments for tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Vaughn. Ms. Gittens?
Okay, first, turned around. First, I would like to thank the members of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated for the honor of being named a Dream Keeper and receiving that award. It meant more than you would ever know to me to be honored in that way, and to be honored in the midst of such other wonderful candidates and winners of the award as well. Thank you to all my colleagues for your cards and kind wishes. And I really appreciate the fact that you tuned in, that you watched, and that you participated as well. The talc and spout bargaining, congratulations on that. I echo the sentiments of Ms. Vaughn about taking care of all of our teachers, and that at this time we really have to focus on the fact that we have to take care of all teachers, period. And with that, I will say too, thank you to all of our teachers, staff, and employees that are working in this difficult time that we have, and still educating and taking care of and loving our children. Yesterday afternoon during the agenda review, it was not one of our finest moments. And I have thought long and hard about it, and I felt I had to make some statement about that just to clear the fallacies. For one, I do know that I was not the last person to turn in questions. And two, when I turn in questions for agenda review, I literally am going through the agenda, looking at each and every item and putting down the number and the letter and asking the question. So the continuous comments about that I am going off task and not talking about things that are relevant, everything that I talk about is directly from the agenda. And in thinking about it, that was a difficult day, but it led me to write something, and I will read it to you. A friend of mine used to say everything happens when it's time. The 132-year journey is unfolding because it was time. Please do not stop listening now because you think this will be yet another rant on a racial struggle. On the contrary, please continue to listen because this is about education, change, equity, inclusion, no matter what your heritage. This is about being personal, passionate, and progressive. If you happen to recognize some things that sound inequitable or not personal, not passionate, and not progressive, then my job of educating you tonight is successful. You're entitled to your own opinion, but not your own facts, as stated by Patrick Moynihan. My presence on the board has taken so much taxpayer time and money as board members, superintendent, staff work very hard to keep me in line, out of the way so they can do their work. Ignoring roadblocks, brushing off the offensive eye-rolling, curling lips, leg shaking, tapping pins, derogatory comments, exasperating sighs, being cut off and warned that there's limited time. Can you just speed it up? Stop asking so many questions. That's not relevant. Can we please move on? Point of order. Those comments are challenging but not impossible, because I have a job to do for the children and community of Lee County. I took an oath. Personal. I have been admonished by many not to take this job personally, but I am personally concerned and care deeply about fulfilling our goal to equitably help all children achieve their highest personal potential in a safe, comfortable environment. We need to see the achievement gap needle jump, not quiver. We need to get input from stakeholders, including families that are struggling to make their children, help their children achieve without the same resources as others. I ask my governance team to not just give lip service, but take personal inventory of what we are teaching our children and the community about attitude, collaboration, working together for good, equity, and inclusion. Go back and watch some meetings and ask yourself, was that comment, that question, that accusation, that attitude the best example for children, or just an attempt to embarrass someone else? Do you exemplify equity and inclusion? Take a look at the oath that we all took personally. Passionate. My colleagues often get an A for being passionate. They are extremely passionate on maintaining the status quo and not seeing a big picture in the possible changes we could consider going forward. I ask that you consider being passionate about listening to different points of view, adjusting your plans, being equitable and inclusive with all board members and all stakeholders. Progressive. The future success of our children and district lies heavily on our ability to face the fact that systems, procedures, rules, and people must evolve with the times. The challenges of COVID should have opened our hearts and minds to the need to prepare for changes that we can see and those that we absolutely have no clue are coming. Successful organizations are able to shift change smoothly and if possible, but mainly with equity and inclusion interwoven in every thought, word, and action. And I am and always have been willing to work with all of you for the good of all. And I am asking that you please consider joining me in that cause. Thank you.
Finish, Ms. Gittens?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Fisher?
Yes, thank you. Good evening. This afternoon, we had some conversation about our legislative priorities and about having the public be more aware of how to contact the representatives. And on our website, under School Board, are our legislative priorities with the contact information of all of our current representatives and legislators. I want to congratulate the administrators on their new assignments and wish them the very best. And I'm very delighted that the Talc and Spalk contracts were ratified, and I thank HR and the union people and all who were involved in the negotiations for bringing us a successful contract. I also want to welcome Mr. John Gunter as the new mayor of Cape Coral and look forward to working with him. He is interested in supporting education as well. Last night's Curriculum Advisory Committee meeting featured Adam Malloy with a presentation on the proximity plan. Information from the members of the Textbook Adoption Committee for the ELA textbook, and they worked very hard to look at every item and make sure that it was aligned with the new best standards. The Lee County Coalition for a Drug-Free Southwest Florida continues to be our partner in preventing substance use and abuse. On Saturday, January 30th, at J.C. Park in Cape Coral, they'll be having their 11th annual prevention run. The weather is going to be good. We invite people to come out. Following that, on February 17th, there'll be a town hall where teens will discuss their concerns, current concerns. It'll be live on Facebook at the Drug-Free Coalition's Prevention Parents page. We appreciate the recent work of Student Services in creating partnerships in the community to support students during this COVID pandemic and the stressful times that many of our families are experiencing. I want to say that I've had reports from families, including some of my own family, about the amazing outreach done by schools to keep in contact with kids who are on Home Connect and to try to help keep them engaged and give them extra support so that they can be successful. I think our teachers and staffs have been very creative and really gone above and beyond the call of duty to make sure that they contact as many students as they can and really help them to be up to speed. So I want to thank them for that. You know, we're grateful for all of our staff, and in the board office, we are very happy to welcome Lisette Roman to join LaTanya Thomas in the myriad of responsibilities that they're learning about now. And now that they are here, we can follow up on a recent conversation that we had about resurrecting the Student Advisory Committee. We are going to go ahead and re-invite our underclassmen that were on the committee and put out the advertisement, and we're going to try to do the meetings on Zoom. Being that our other advisory committees have had such success with Zoom and had such good attendance, we think that might really be helpful. So we're glad to bring that back to you and hope that everybody still is in agreement that we need the voice of the kids to help us in our decision-making. And finally, we got an email from our wonderful attorney, Dupree Bruno, reminding us that on page 6 of our district strategic plan, there's a quote by Henry Ford that says, "Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success." Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fisher. And I know I gave my report earlier today regarding the legislative issues and other things that were going on in the community. However, I did forget to mention something that Ms. Stout has sent to me regarding our students at Dunbar Middle, that every year they submit an essay to the Florida Commission of the Status of Women. And this year, again, they took 4 places. So she wanted to make sure that we, were appreciative of our kids. She said they won 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, and they won first place. So I just wanted to share that too. And good job at Fort Myers. I'm sorry, not Fort Myers, Dunbar Middle School. And again, congratulations to all of our new administrators and their new job. Welcome to Lizette. We really appreciate you being here with us and look forward to working with you. And I just want to say, I do look forward to working with all of you all the time. I do believe that we have a great board. We're all from different aspects of, what we do in our lives. And I think that we all bring something to the table. So in saying that, I hope we do continue, and thank you, Ms. Fisher, for reading that. I thought that was very appropriate. And I do appreciate everything that everyone said here on the dais, so thank you. And moving forward, Ms. Dupree Bruno, do you have any comments this evening?
I have no comment. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, can I take liberty? Ms. Ware, I know you're here, so I just want to say Franklin Park is moving forward. Thank you. Sorry, Dr. Atkins. Do you have any comments for this evening?
Yeah, just a few quick ones. Again, it was said, but it's nice to be able to congratulate one of our own, Keeper of the Dream Award, Ms. Gittens.
Thank you.
So that was a fun event to participate in, and I really enjoyed that, and I appreciate our fraternity recognizing her for her accomplishments. I also want to thank, of course, it's been done this, but our TALC and our SPALC leadership team. They have been wonderful partners, and I appreciate the hard work that they do. Also want to recognize, in addition to our fantastic HR team and the bargaining team, but also the rest of the folks in business services that helped look for those dollars and brought them to the table. And then you as a board need to take your due in this, because that's something that you have to agree to in advance in terms of the bargaining limit. You know how tight the budget is, but without a single exception, all 7 board members have always stated that it is important to compensate our employees well. And so I appreciate your support, a big part of that. And also a big part of this is something we need to continue to celebrate because it's a big deal. Again, just for the public, our graduation rate came in and we are up 4.8%. In case you didn't see it, that is the second largest jump in the Big Ten, and only one other district was a little bit higher than us, but we exceeded the state and the rest of the Big Ten, 88.5%. And of course, it is also important for us to point out that if you look at just our traditional high schools, that's 95.1%. That's phenomenal. The dropout rate is also the lowest it's ever been, at historic lows at 2.2%. So I think all that is important for our public to know, that our teachers, our support staff, and of course our administrators all are working really hard with our students and the parents to get those type of results. So that's just fantastic. A couple of quick announcements. We did mention the one running event. Another one that's taking place real soon is Strides for Education, is coming up on February 6th. And that event is put on every year by our foundation, so if you can participate in that one, they would certainly appreciate it. It's one of the biggest fundraisers of the year. And speaking of the foundation, just wanted to, they gave a huge shout out to some of the members of staff, and I'd like for the board to hear that as well. Golden Apple is a challenge this year but you want to be able to recognize those teachers in a way that they deserve and really celebrate that moment, because they, instead of, want them to be shortchanged, it's such a high honor it is, but really praised academic services for making all of that work, that whole team, Dr. Spiro and his crew. Communications as well, communications, being able to get out there and film that, and so Lauren and Irma and Jason and the whole team really helped make that happen. So I just wanted to give a couple shout outs there, that they are continuing to get the work done with the foundation, working with our great staff. So thank you. And that's it for my comments.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, the next scheduled board meeting will be on Monday, February 8th. There will be a school board workshop at 1 p.m. On Tuesday, February 9th, there will be a briefing meeting at 1 p.m. and an action meeting at 6 p.m. At this point, having no other business to come before this body and seeing no objection, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.